Can you guys see that? Sick. Alrighty. So yeah, I'm gonna touch on 5 key aspects to servant leadership. In my opinion, servant leadership is the best type of leadership. It really, I think, putting the word servant on the first part of that aspect of leadership, I think just really puts the aspect on not just power within leadership, but really the authority and the respect that the individual gets. And I think a big part of that is, as a servant leader, you care about the people underneath you. And so being able to lead through service to those underneath you, I think is super, super powerful. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hit these 5 key aspects, and then I'll kind of relay some of my personal experience here at school with some of the leadership aspects that I'm a part of. So number 1 is meekness. A quick definition for meekness is just power under control. So I think it's super important as a servant leader to find the balance between showcasing your authority without lording your authority over those beneath you. And so I think when this really boils down, it boils down to relationships. And so for me, I hold a position here at Grand Canyon University as what's called a life leader. And so I host weekly Bible studies with the guys on my dorm floor. And it would be really boring if all I did was had the guys come and I just spoke a sermon or something to them. And so one of the things that I try to do in my leadership position is to incorporate conversation and really facilitate the discussion. So I'm not the only one teaching. I want to hear their inputs. I want to hear their questions and really be able to reach out. And I think that aspect of relationship is a huge aspect to meekness and leadership. And this is something that just like working with Cutco, like all the district managers have a great sense of this. I think it's really cool just with Jacob, like every phone call I have with him, I feel like I don't really feel like I'm talking to a manager. I feel like I'm talking to a friend. And I think that just like really showcases that meekness that he has as far as leadership goes. And it's definitely something that I want to be able to reflect in my leadership skills here at school, in work, and beyond. Number 2 is attitude. So a quick definition for this one is just aligning our attitude with what is true, honorable, and also commendable. So I feel like there's 2 drastic sides that people often go to. One is they're always questioning their attitude. They're always questioning and they don't have answers for their questions. And that I feel like leads to shame. There's also on the opposite side of that spectrum, there's those who never question anything that they do and they think they're the best at everything. And that can lead to arrogance. And so as a servant leader in a leadership position, I think it's super important to be able to know your vulnerabilities, know your weaknesses, be able to ask those questions, but then be able to also answer those questions. I think that video that Sebastian showed earlier really spoke to that. And so we should question ourselves and know our weaknesses, but how do we grow and how do we answer those questions and better ourselves to be able to step into that right mindset. And then also just lastly with attitudes, understanding the things that you are good at and being able to compliment yourself, I think is super big as a leader. And so, yeah, just find those areas where you need to grow while also reassuring your current state of being. The third one here is vision. The quick definition that I have for this one is just the ability to see God's presence, power, and plan in spite of the obstacles. Basically, this is just the understanding the purpose and the plan in the midst of hard times. For me personally, this last semester, I had an interview before I got this job here working at Cutco. I had another interview for an on-campus job at college, and I thought the interview went great. I had a couple of friends recommend me to the position. I thought I did a really good job answering the questions in the interview, just being really personable. And a week later, I got an email saying I didn't get the job. And there's one aspect of me that just like, I didn't really know what to do. I knew I needed a job, but didn't really know what was going on. And that was literally like 3 days later that Lindley texted me. It was like, hey, we have this interview position for Cutco. You should take us up on this. And so just like as a leader, the ability to see the purpose in those hard and difficult times where those doors are slammed in your face because there is a purpose and a plan for it. And there is another door that's about to open. And so just as a leader, being able to understand that and have that vision and being able to see that, I think is super powerful. Number 4 here, this is empowerment. So just the ability as a leader to be able to teach others to be good leaders. So this is one thing that's really cool with my leadership position here at school is I have 4 freshmen on my floor who have applied for leadership positions for next fall. And so I think that's like been really cool. And I've been able to kind of help them and answer their questions as far as what the application process looks like, what the interview looks like. And I'm really excited to see them step up into those leadership positions here at Grand Canyon University next year. And so that aspect of empowerment is something that I think all good leaders have. And again, the managers here at Cutco have really been able to pour that into us and into me. And just having those phone calls where they're teaching me, they're sharing their past experiences, their knowledge, just showcases a great servant leader. And the last one I have here is just integrity. Integrity is the quality or condition of being whole and undivided. I think it's really important as a servant leader to know what you believe, to be able to hold fast to those beliefs and be true to who you are. I think your convictions and your beliefs are basically your foundation that you'll build your life upon. And so having an understanding of who you are and what you hold to, that will be able to tether you in life and allow you to walk that straight and narrow path without getting off track. And so just being true, and also just like, I think just growing around those around you and allowing those around you to influence you in positive ways to really allow you to get to know who you are and be true to that. So just wrapping up, I think it's really important as a leader, and as I've seen other people do, and it's something that these 5 aspects are aspects that I want to live out in my leadership, is just respecting those around you with all the wisdom and authority that you have. And also finding people in your life who model these concepts well. I think that's one of the aspects I love working here at Cutco, is all the managers have to some degree these 5 aspects. And it's really cool to be able to see that in them and them being able to pour those aspects into us. And I think it will be able to allow me, as I move on in a career or continue to work through Cutco over the summer, to continue to build these skills in leadership positions and to eventually be able to influence people. I think at the core, leadership is influence. And I want to be able to influence people in a positive manner. So that's what I have as far as leadership. I think servant leadership is a really key aspect, and those 5 pillars, in a sense, are super powerful. So that's what I have.
Awesome. Let's give Micah a nice round of applause. Meekness. Remind me of Meek Mill. I've never heard that word, but it's the first thing I thought of. Attitude, vision, empowerment, integrity. And that's also what you said earlier with what you want people to know you as. So I thought that was very well aligned with that. So nice job living in alignments, modeling well.
Thanks.
Next on the program,